Hi everyone, it's such a beautiful, beautiful morning. The plan of action for today is to just get the tomatoes planted, some strawberries planted. I purchased some bare roots from Stark Bros. They were having a sale. I don't know if they're still having it. I'll put it on the screen if they are, but they had the strawberry bare roots for like $7, $8, $10, $12 for $25. I just couldn't pass up, along with free shipping, no minimum. So I went ham on strawberries. Along with the strawberries, I do want to get some more peppers out, and yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm going to show you guys something really quickly, which is kind of bad, but I want you guys to be aware. So if you take a look at my pepper plant here, do you see those leaves that are curling? So the pepper plant is trying to tell me that it's stressed. I know for a fact my stress issue is because it's still in these little containers. They need to stretch out their roots. But another reason for this too, and I think it could also be a combination of the roots needing to stretch and overwatering. Because a lot of times I have these in these little pots, and then I have them in a tray that holds the water. So when it rains, and it has been raining quite a lot, they sit in that water for just a little bit too long. So I have to get out here and dump most of this water out because my pepper is saying it's not happy. So hopefully by the end of today, I could get the few pepper plants that I have left planted. I found some more of the black containers, I think 1 or 2 more. So I could get one of them in that, and the rest I'm going to put in that front bed. It'll be a little close, but I think because the spicier varieties grow a little bit smaller, I think it'll actually be fine. And then I'm going to pop some in the landscape and see how that goes, or actually some in the front, and then I have to save some for a friend that's coming over later today to collect some. So I'm gonna organize that really quickly by I had cleared out the table, and I'm gonna organize it by putting it back on the table. Okay, so I have taken a minute just to figure out the plan of action for the peppers. I have these 4 that will be going in the bed that we just planted up. We have a Kambahi red habanero. This is from Southern Exposure Seed Exchange. Then we have a Trini. Oh. It's okay. It's okay, boy. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Ziggy's on guard. It's okay. It's okay. And then we have a habanero pepper from My Garden. He's like under me. He's like, give me more rubs, please. That definitely stressed him out because his hairs are all like sticking up. And then lastly, we have the Tabasco pepper. So these 4, I think, will fit just fine in that area that we just did peppers in. And then I have, it's okay. And then I have 4 more. 4 containers. I have the Pepperlight Scotch Bonnet. This is a name that I made up for this pepper that my friend was growing. I think I may have a little video of it, and I'll insert it here. But they just reminded me of, in Jamaica we call Christmas lights pepper lights, and it reminded me of those old, chunkier, vintage Christmas lights. So we call it pepper lights. And then I have some Tobago seasoning here. I have West Indies red habanero. And then I also have a trio of just Jamaican Scotch bonnet. And this one actually did the split thing that, let me get these out the way, that purple cayenne did, but it's split just in two. The peppers that I'll be giving away is 2 of the Tobago seasoning, 2 pepper lights or Scotch bonnet peppers, and another 2 red habanero. One of these in here is doing really well and the other one is kind of suffering, but I think once she takes them out and split them, they should be good. As I was out here planting the peppers, I decided to go ahead and weed the elephant garlic bed, and I found that they are pushing out their scapes. And garlic scapes is essentially like the garlic putting out their seed. And when you see that, you want to make sure that you get out and you cut them off even before they get this long. As you see like a little stub, just go ahead and cut them off. And you could use these are like a milder, very mild garlic essentially. I've seen people using them in pesto. I cut them up and put them in omelets. They're really yummy. So this also shows that the garlic will be ready in approximately 2 to 4 more weeks. So you definitely want to cut these off because they are essentially taking energy from the bulbs. And this is the time that the bulbs are really getting big. So if you leave the garlic scapes on the garlic, you'll most likely end up with a smaller garlic head. So I think I glimpsed one when it was like this tall, and I remember trying to put it in my head to come out here and cut it, and I completely forgot, and now look how long they are. So this is the stage that you want to cut your garlic scapes, not too long. You could see that this is just about maybe under 5 inches. I know some people wait for the garlic scapes to curl up a bit, but with the elephant garlics, you want to get out as soon as possible. They do not curl. They just grow up straight, whereas other smaller hardneck varieties, you'll have where the garlic scapes curls a bit. Once it does like the first curl, you want to get out and cut those scapes off. So I was able to harvest 6 scapes. Looks really good. On top here, this is the flower head. You definitely do not want your garlic to flower. So make sure you're going out there and you're getting your garlic scapes for the hardneck varieties and the elephant garlic. The softneck varieties, they do not have garlic scapes. And the clue for you as to when they'll be ready is you'll see 2 to 3 sets of the lower leaves start to die off, and that's your indication that your softneck garlic will be ready soon. So I have picked out my selection of tomatoes that hopefully we'll get to plant up today. It's actually really perfect because it just rained yesterday, so that means the ground is nice and moist and digging will be so much easier. Last year I had my tomatoes planted by the first week of May. It is now the end of May and we are a little bit behind, but it's fine. Tomatoes, they do not take a long time to mature at all. Last year I started my tomatoes really early. I think maybe even the end of February. I dropped it down a month to the end of March, and I think I'm gonna drop it down some more next year and start them the first week or the second week of April. they grow really fast. And the thing about tomatoes that I like a lot is when you're planting them, they don't need any special like loomy soil or anything like that. Last year I planted my tomatoes where you see the flower bed now, and nothing there was prepared. I didn't have any amendments apart from the stuff that I put inside the hole that I dug for the plant. All I put was some black cow and some granular fertilizer, and I was having tomatoes, honestly, until the end of August. They were still green and producing so much, and the only reason why they stopped is because one, I pulled it out, and two is because we're about to get frost. So they're not finicky at all. These tomatoes, they've been in these containers a little bit too long. You can see the yellowing leaves at the bottom, but I'm just gonna make sure that I plant these really deep. Tomatoes actually have areas here, you'll see they will actually push out roots wherever the stem touches soil. So in order to get like a nice firm base for your tomato plant, I would just suggest planting them as deep as you can. If you can't go very deep, I have seen where people have planted their tomatoes sideways. So this would be covered, and then they would kind of bend it a little bit to get it going upwards, and that's another way to get more roots on your tomatoes if you can't go really deep. Let's actually quickly go through the varieties that I picked this year. I planted about 40 something tomato plants last year. I definitely don't need that much tomatoes. So my focus this year is mostly on tomatoes that I could can. So I'm just doing one or two, actually maximum 4 of the cherry tomatoes, and I'm doing maximum 4 of the beefsteak tomatoes. I love those for tomatoes. I love those for sandwiches or just alongside my dinner. So I have the green zebra tomato. This would be my first year growing it. Also my first year tasting it. I've never had fried tomatoes, and I'm really excited to do that with this. I just did one plant because I don't know if I'll like it or not. I am also doing Irie Gold, and that is a more yellow variety of tomato, but they are meaty. They are meaty and really delicious. I'm also doing some Costoludo Genovese tomato, more Irie, the Kellogg's Breakfast. I'm also doing some pineapple tomatoes. I really love the color variation on those. I have some Romas in here. I have some Super Italian, some Brandywine, of course, some San Marzano, some Bisignano, is that how you pronounce that one? Yeah, so these are mostly my big beefy tomato plants. And then for my cherry tomatoes, I'm doing the Sunrise Cherry. I really love those. And I'm doing the Black Plum, which I feel like they're like a mix between something bigger, and because I have used it in sauce before, but it's like you could still snack on it, if that makes sense. So they're kind of like an in-between for me. And then I have the Black Strawberry, and I just love how these tomatoes look, and they taste really delicious as well. So that's pretty much it. I'm gonna show you the area now where we're gonna plant. We're gonna do a quick cleanup. I planted them where, like I said, where the flower bed is now. The issue with that was they got really big. I did not stay on top of pruning my tomatoes. I actually prefer not to prune them as much because I feel like they give me more tomatoes if I don't. So what ended up happening was it made it really hard for me to enter the garden. And it was blocking the view of everything else in the garden as well. So for me, I prefer a little bit of pretty, and I want my plants to start short and then go taller. So this is why this year I'm just keeping them in the back of the garden and also in this front bed at the side. I think that will be enough space for all of these. Right now I have 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. I have 18, and I think last year I also had 18 in the back. I'm not certain. But these are my main priorities. The cherry tomatoes, I could kind of pop in here and there in the flower beds. Like I said, tomatoes are not picky as to where you plant them. Just put some amendments in the hole and make sure you support them, and they'll be good to go. So let's go down to the planting area, and hopefully we can get this done before the heat of the sun comes out. I'm just gonna rest this right here. So this is basically the planting area. Right now it's a little bit overrun by weeds. I should have definitely put something down in the beginning of the season, but my plan is I wanted to remove the wood chips from over the other side, and I think I'm going to put it here. At first I didn't know where it was going to go, but I think it'll be perfect here to hopefully help suppress some of these weeds. I need to stop doing piles in the garden because that's usually where the little gardener snakes like to live. But I'm just going to grab my fork, pull up some of these. I think these are morning glories. They're so annoying. And I'm going to do 3 rows, and I could definitely fit. I'm trying to fit all the tomatoes here so that hopefully you could still see this, which is the rose, the boysenberry, and I have some dahlias in there. So in order to kind of get this done as soon as possible, I'm just going to do the most immediate area first. So all of this here I'm gonna do at another time, maybe later today, but I want to start getting these morning glory up. Last year I staked them up with bamboo. I definitely have to use something different. The bamboo wasn't long enough, and with the weight of the tomatoes, a lot of them were breaking. So I really want to find something that I know once I put it up, I don't have to worry about coming back in and adding or changing out because of length issue or weight issue. When I'm like nervous about what's on the ground, I like to stand on my beds and do the job. Okay, I don't see anything but pill bugs. Okay, that's good. It is close to pickup time, so I am going to try to get this done as quickly as I possibly can. Issue is, I was thinking about something. Another one of my nobody asked you to do this experiment, I thought about maybe not fertilizing some of these. These bamboo markers will help me remember that I'm not supposed to fertilize. So this will be really good in seeing how these plants compare, because I really want to get out of having to use and buy the fertilizer, especially in ground. And I feel like if you feed your soil, protect it during the protect it from the harsh sun and things like that, and I have a good amount of microbes and all of that good stuff in here. So I really want to see if my soil can put in some work without me using fertilizers. So I want to quickly show you guys what everything is looking like. Ignore the mess and the weeds over there. But everything turned out really well. It just took me much longer than I was expecting. So the two back here are Brandywine. These two are Bisignano. This is Eleni Gold right here, and right here. So we have three of those. And then we have the Kellogg's Breakfast here and here. And for each of these, we have one without the amendments and one with my regular amendments like I did last year. And then we have the Castelludo. We have one Roma here. Back here we have two of the Super Italian. And up front here we have two San Marzano. So everything looks great. Everything is spaced really nicely. I'm really happy with this. The only thing I want to get done is to hopefully maybe get my husband to clean up right there. I don't like going into areas that are too bushy. I don't know what will pop out at me. And I think here I can maybe plant some low crops or some flowers. I just have to see what I have left. So that's pretty much it for this video. It took much longer than I was expecting, but I'm happy that the tomatoes are finally in, and I guess now we could move on to other things like flowers, but those are not as important and they're not as tall and overgrown. But thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in the next one, which will probably be a garden tour, so stay tuned for that. Bye.